The first case is one where there was a package thief stealing people's Christmas presents. Literally, they were somebody's Christmas presents. They got delivered, and he was right there to grab them not much later. That guy was identified as Christopher Hancock, and you identified him. How did that come about?
Well, I was going through the pending on the scanner page, and I saw the post, need ID. As soon as I looked at the picture, I was like, hey, that's Chris Hancock, Christopher. I've dealt with Christopher before when I was in law enforcement, and we've actually highlighted him before on the scanner page.
Right.
So Chris was well known to us from, I've known Chris since early 2000. And
unmistakable face, right?
Yeah, he always has his little soul patch on.
Yeah.
Ever since I've known him, he'll take the mustache off every once in a while, but no, Chris is living in his addiction.
Yeah, I understand. That's too bad.
And the funny thing is, though, when he's clean,
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a big boy. He's fit, and you can tell by looking at him right now that he's not clean.
Yeah. Let's hit play on that video and watch this thing. You'll see it projected. So he's walking up to this house, and man, he already went by in his truck and knew what was up, and bam. There he is. He's got a couple of good-looking packages there. Looks like 3, and then he runs. And somebody's yelling at him from the other house.
Yes, and neighbors being good neighbors, she sees that he doesn't belong there. So she comes out of the house and starts telling him that he needs to put that back, put him on notice that he's been caught. And you'll see by the way he drives out that he's leaving in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. He's hustling out of there. Yep. Scared the hell out of him, I bet. Oh, my gosh. There's some lady that's chasing me down because I spilled the packages. Yeah.
Kudos to the neighbor. See something, say something. She saw something in progress. She comes out of the house and tries to stop it.
You make them make mistakes. And because of the video cameras at that house, and I think they picked him up driving by the first time, there's actually a picture of him in the truck. There's pictures of him up close, and David Stepp, the camera guy that we had on here to guest host with us, was one of his customers and a friend of mine and a scanner group member, and he ran out to their house and had the mugshot right next to it, and we knew before the photos were and the video were even out.
Yeah, no, we're getting to that time of year where the thieves are starting to get desperate. We're getting into the celebration holidays where people give gifts.
Yeah.
And
lots of extra stuff around this time of year for folks. And there's probably some tips we could go over that would help folks think about that wisely so they're not taken advantage of. I like to know when my packages are coming. So if I order something off of Amazon, eBay, a website, or whatnot, I have a couple of things. I have a UPS account, which doesn't cost anything, but UPS sends me notifications when I have a package headed my way before it even lands, and I usually know within a couple of hours. I work from home, so that makes it a little easier for me. Also, USPS has informed delivery, and they'll send you a scan of all your mail that's coming, and that's pretty handy if you had a mail theft.
Yeah. And the good thing is if you're tracking your packages, you'll have a general idea of when your packages are supposed to arrive. You can also contact UPS, FedEx, those kind of companies, and you can tell them where you want it delivered. I want it dropped here. Don't leave it on. You don't leave it. We'll come pick it up. There's a lot of plans that you can make to try to protect those packages.
I used to have things delivered to work, so there would not be a surprise ruined at my house because we're surprise ruiners. We like to give away the Christmas presents before Christmas actually happens and those kind of things. But if you have that opportunity to have packages delivered to work, check with your boss first, that kind of thing. Or if you own your own business, that's a good plan because there's usually somebody there to accept the package. And sometimes if you have a neighbor, maybe a senior or somebody that's homebound or somebody that works from home like me, I'd be happy to accept packages for my neighbors so they don't get their stuff stolen. We live up a private driveway, so not many people come up there, and our driveway dinger starts going crazy. If somebody comes to my house, they're not getting it. I'm letting the dogs out, man. You look out for your neighbor's packages. I mean, really, that's who you got to look out for you. So if you start it by saying, hey, there was a guy at your house earlier today and I was concerned about it, they'll say, oh, that was my cousin. I sent him over to do whatever. That's all okay. At least they know that you're looking out for them, and maybe they'll do the same for them, or make a pact with your neighbors. That's a good thing to do. And I really think reporting suspicious activity, you're not trying to be big brother, but you know when something's not quite right in your hood because you're always there.
Yeah, you know who belongs and who doesn't. And, if you're looking outside, if you're paying attention, if you're washing your car, grabbing something out of your car, and you see somebody across the street that doesn't belong there, report it.
You see a moving van and the garage door's up and they're loading up everything in the house.
Yeah.
But you never knew your neighbors were moving and they never had a for sale sign. There's a good time.
Yeah, that's a pretty big red flag.
Cameras, all good stuff. Signs, signs telling them you have cameras in case they weren't smart enough to look for the cameras. Alarm signs, those are all good. Beware of very vicious, mean, man-eating dog signs. Whatever you can come up with, that kind of scares stuff away. And then lighting things up. So if it's at night, we talked about that with the camera guy. But it's getting dark pretty early now. Your package might be sitting out there before you get home. And boy, if there's a bunch of light on it, man, the cockroaches do not want to scurry towards the light. That's for sure.
Well, and our thieves like to hide. You may have a lot of foliage in your yards. You may have a lot of cover for these thieves to stay out of view. I'm not going to tell anyone out there to start ripping your bushes out and stuff, but you really might want to start thinking about lighting, ways I can still have my foliage and, still protect myself.
Really, if your porch is completely surrounded by a hedge, it's because you wanted privacy, and you got to make the decision between privacy or possibly somebody seeing your packages being stolen at that point.
Yeah, and we also want to touch up on what is suspicious. Suspicious is not the guy with the saggy pants walking down the street with a skateboard in his hand. Suspicious is not the guy that's riding on his bike and he's got another bike with him. Now, that we're bordering there. We're getting there, okay? But there's a lot of people that legitimately have a second bike and they're taking, their friend borrowed it and they're taking it home.
Or bought one.
Or bought one. There's a lot of reasons why people do what they do.
They bought one from a guy under a bridge and it's made out of miscellaneous. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting off track there.
But what we want you to understand about suspicious activity is the truck that goes up and down the street 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
That's going slow, that's slowing down in front of residents, that's looking at the yards, that's doing things that is obvious that's not right.
The guy looking in windows or ducking his head over a fence as he's walking by, he's checking stuff out. Yep. I don't do that. I mean, I would feel weird about looking in somebody's windows or looking in over their fence unless there's a for sale sign. Then I might want to look inside there and see if it's a cool house. That's about it.
Yep. Exactly.
All right, so the quad and motorcycles theft, that happened at a local business?
Yep,
Waterworld, yep, out on Highway 62, just past the sheriff's office.
Yep.
Yeah, been around for a long time.
It has been around for a long time. The people from Waterworld released pictures of the incident, and again, I know who this is. And I don't know officially where law enforcement's at with the investigation in regards to the suspects involved. But the guy there loading that stuff in is Robert Herring.
Yep.
Okay. Robert's been around a long time. It's obvious if you compare the pictures, especially the one where he's getting out of the truck.
Before he puts his face mask and hat on, you better put those on in the truck there, criminals.
Yep. That's Robert. And,
it's a crazy picture. He's got the bike thrown in the back.
Yeah.
One man trying to load up a whole 4-wheel ATV. That was heavy, man.
Exactly.
Probably hurt his back and will get arrested at some point.
Now, I do know that the victims got the bikes back.
Yep.
I don't know the circumstances behind how the law enforcement got a hold of the bikes. But, we get a lot of information coming into ThiefHunter Labs and to Scanner Group from people that look at these pictures and they know these people.
Yeah. I was told today by one of the people that is responsible for this post that they got the bikes back. They haven't been told who was arrested or those kind of things, but apparently there was also an accomplice. So there may have been somebody in that truck, or maybe they landed on them painting the stuff or whatever that is. We're glad the bikes are back and things like that. And I'd like to follow up, and he'll probably have a post at some point.
Well, I would like to see JCSO put out a press release.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when we get this information and we're able to confirm it, we'll try to pass it on to law enforcement. And we deal with a lot of victims that get frustrated.
Yeah.
Why hasn't law enforcement contacted me? Why do I have to wait for a day or two? Why do I have to do this online? Well, I'm letting the viewers that can hear my voice know that our law enforcement is extremely busy.
Jeez.
Where one officer may be dealing with 10 of these types of cases at one time.
Number of calls per year. I mean,
yes.
You get in the 20,000s in Medford. Yeah, it's a heck of a lot of calls. They got to be prioritized too.
Right.
I mean, if your grandmother's having a stroke, you want them to come there first, right? I do.
Yeah.
And you know what? If there's a burglary in progress, I want him to get the guy while he's stealing the stuff,
That's
not
right.
later. So there's an accident, those kind of things. They got to go direct traffic so there's not more accidents around the accidents. So often the law enforcement are the first people that respond to an accident and maybe secure somebody's health before medical
right.
can get there.
Save lives.
So we want to give them some grace and that kind of stuff. But also, I mean, we kind of want to say that it's pretty important that victims be able to use information they're given. I realize law enforcement has to pan that out.
Yeah.
You know, they have to decide whether it's probable cause. We collect up what we can.
That's right.
And what we're doing is we're helping the victims. And we're working for free, right?
That's right.
I'm not being paid. I don't have PERS for it. No. So, I mean, I would really like the victims to be treated very well in this. I could give a crap less how anybody treats me. It's pretty obvious
That's
from
right.
things that have gone on in the past. But the victims, I mean, that's who we're working for, and that's who law enforcement is working for.
Well, and I hope law enforcement has seen that when a victim has a avenue or a platform to step forward, and where they feel like they're fighting for themselves, that it makes law enforcement's job a lot easier. You know, we collect this evidence, or we collect this information, we pass it on to law enforcement. What I expect is, thanks, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all we're asking.
Not some of the other stuff that happens, maybe.
And I've had a member or two get a hold of me and say, the officer kind of looked at me, you got this from the Scanner Group? Psh. Well, guess what, guys? I'm sorry.
I had one tell me, and it was from a certain agency, and they all seem to come from that agency.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that unsaid, but they know. The victim literally said, the cop said, nothing you get from Scanner Group's going to matter. I want to look at our members and see how you feel about that, because some of you work pretty hard to try to help these situations. I think it's important that stuff get used. So I guess we should probably get off that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to get off that stuff.
Trying to piss everybody off here tonight. We'll work really hard on it.
But I'm going to tell you that the big bulk of law enforcement that understands this page is very appreciative.
It's free work.
It's free work. Hey, I can concentrate on this other case because the Scanner Group just gave me a picture, and that is who the heck that guy is. I don't have to figure this out now.
I bill $75 to $100 an hour in my other business. Maybe I can get in on the JCSO budget. All right, so there's a guy that's been eluding regularly, and he's got a pretty good record from what I saw. Ted Jensen. Yes. You've been running from the law a lot. Listen, Jackwagon, we want everybody to look for you right now. So we're going to put up a picture of Ted for sure so you guys can see him. And what we hear is he's driving, or last he was driving. Maybe he'll steal another one. Maybe this one's stolen. Who knows? We can't catch Ted. Purple Audi A4 with a gray rattle can crappy truck spoiler thingy when,
Yes.
when kids try to upgrade the cars and they don't do such a good job. Some of them look damn hot when they do a good job. Addison, you have a lowered BMW.
I do.
It's got some effects and things like that on it. It looks slick.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of body kit just to make it look more like an M3. If anybody knows what.
Yeah. This one
Bob
will
Beamers.
stick out because it's not done like that.
And Ted has warrants.
Oh yeah.
If you know where Ted Jensen's at, call it into non-emergency dispatch. Let law enforcement know where he's at. Let's let the dogs loose on him.
And hey, we like tips. So if you know where Ted's at, I'd be happy to hear that. If you know where Ted's at that moment and I'm around and I'm not working and I can answer my message, that's cool stuff. But it's most important that you call it in because he has a warrant to law enforcement. But if you know where he regularly stays, those kind of things, we love tips.
Yep.
Good stuff. Oh, okay. The creeper post. This was just nasty. So, dude is member contacts me. I kind of want to post this. I'm not sure, but it bothers me, and it's been called in, and there's a case number. And the woman was walking in the parking lot at Carl's Jr., and this dope was pleasuring himself in the front seat of his car and just staring at her and following her with his eyes. And he kind of liked it when she looked at him and that kind of stuff. And eventually she realized what was going on, and that was the end of it. And she took pictures, got the plate, got the car, got everything like that. And this guy had a dog with him. We have a friend here that's watching the podcast. He said, "Don't forget the dog." He's got a pit bull or a boxer mix of some kind in the car, and just like always happens, some dog lover spoke up and said, "That poor dog,
That poor dog,
dude!" And bang! I can almost ring a bell every time it happens, but it's fun. He was caught. So he was caught, and Johnny Lee Rife stick, and we'll put a picture up there. And you know what? It's actually like a book and release type thing. He's not in jail right now, and I realize that. But here's the concern, and we don't call him out because that's nasty. That makes a buzzworthy podcast or scanner group or anything like that. I can tell you that those kind of acts, those kind of public acts, often lead to worse acts and lead to serious sex offenses. So calling this guy out, maybe he'll get right and not do that kind of crap again. And if not, that's a guy that you don't want hanging out in your driveway.
Well, the big thing with guys like Johnny, if you can't keep it in your pants when you go outside, you got a serious problem.
Yeah.
You have a serious problem. If you can't walk into a store and walk by a female and not do the 360 look and follow her around, you got a problem and you need help because that's not normal.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scanner Group Crowdsourced Crime and Safety Podcast with Ryan Mallory and Jared Banry from ThiefHunter Labs. Make sure to subscribe today for notifications about the next show. Visit us at www.thiefhunterlabs.com or on Facebook as Thief Hunter Labs in the search bar.